me get my voice ready.
Welcome back for the very first time.
Yeah, welcome back for the very first time
to the currently unnamed podcast.
Yeah, currently.
But by the time this hits airways, it will have a name.
Hopefully.
So, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm Drew.
And I'm Max.
And this is our podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
You remember we started this like a long time ago?
Yeah. This was what?
Like,
was it junior or senior year?
I want to say.
It's been a while.
Were we still in school?
Yeah, we were still. No. That's a good question.
Like we had graduated.
we did. It was like the first year of college.
Yeah. And I remember I went over to his house. We had recorded a podcast while playing Injustice.
Yeah. It's still in my hard drive somewhere.
Wow. Yeah.
It's still in there.
And it never saw the light of day. So welcome to the real episode.
Right.
And we just want to chill out, talk about trending topics of the world
and whatever's going on and
entertainment, stuff like that. So join us on this journey, and we'll try to have our episodes at least every 2 weeks, hopefully.
Yeah. Depending on schedules. Also, if there's anything to talk about, which now, I mean, usually there's always something to talk about.
Always,
now. Like Twitter is just spin them out like crazy. Like, did you see, and this is going to be kind of a little bit obscure, the lady on the dance floor getting eaten out?
No. I've seen some crazy videos of like someone, like at pool parties and stuff like that, but on a dance floor,
middle of a dance floor, just going.
That's crazy, man. That's absolutely.
It's just like it amazes me. Like back in the day, I think you knew there was crazy people, but you never thought like they are out here.
Yeah.
Like I also saw a video of a guy praying to Trump. Did not know that was a thing.
God.
Like he got pulled over and he's praying to Trump, and I was like, I was like, maybe when did I miss this?
Why?
I was like, maybe he did become a saint, and Catholicism hasn't told anybody. But yeah, so there's enough things to go around. And for anybody who asks about that podcast, the podcast was literally just all you could hear was just us playing.
Right.
It was usually, and the reason it never saw the light of day was because it literally was talk.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Right.
And it literally was just these gigantic gaps, and I was like, I don't think people are gonna just want to hear controller noises.
Not at all. So in the spirit of starting our new and improved podcast, first topic we have on the docket in the world of entertainment is Warner Brothers Discovery. If you didn't know, Warner Brothers recently merged with Discovery. And so
news to me.
Basically, it's just been like an overhaul in like the higher ups, like CEO, producers on movies and stuff like that. And I specifically wanted to talk about just the direction the DC universe of movies is going.
There a direction for the longest? Is there a direction?
Exactly.
For the longest, it's just been copy Marvel and hope it works.
But right now, it's just been a total mess. And I was talking to Nick about this the other day. So obviously there's a whole Ezra Miller situation of him being a real life reverse Flash and terrorizing people all over the country. As of recording this, I believe yesterday it was announced that the new Batgirl movie, which was originally going to release on HBO Max, is now being shelved. They're not releasing it at all.
So was it already shot?
It was already shot, made.
Wow.
I think it was about to be edited. It's not being released in theaters, on HBO Max, nothing. Ooh. And of course,
that costs serious money.
Yeah. And their reasoning behind it was that they felt that the cost of the movie was ballooning, because I think it was somewhere around like $90 million to make or something like that, which isn't unheard of because it's a superhero movie.
90 mil?
Yeah, but...
And you said ballooning, right? So it meant it wasn't...
Yeah, because like I said, it wasn't completely finished. They still had to do editing, special effects, marketing, of course, and stuff like that. But they felt that it wasn't going to make like enough money for them. Like they wouldn't get a good return. Yeah. But I feel like not releasing it at all is just gonna make you lose out on more money.
Way worse than
that. I know they're gonna get like some type of like tax write off on it, but still, that's so disappointing to everyone who was working on that movie, because I know the directors. They directed Bad Boys for Life. Yeah. And 2 episodes of the Miss Marvel series that was on Disney Plus. Okay. And, really great guys, really great directors, and I was looking forward to this movie. Leslie Grace, she was in The Heights last summer, so, would have been a great movie. Brendan Fraser was going to be in it as a villain. Michael Keaton was back as Batman. Yeah, like, it was going to be great. And so...
Nope.
Right.
That's the worst part. And nope.
Yeah, to hear this news is really sad, and just the direction the DC universe is going, it doesn't look bright, because...
the biggest thing about it is, it's just like, I get that they want the results that Marvel got from what is it the first phase, or what did they call it?
The Infinity Saga.
The Infinity Saga. They want the same results, but I don't know what it is about higher ups and general not understanding that if you want to build, you can't just snap your fingers. You're not Thanos, essentially. Right. You can't just snap things into popping up. And even back when they dropped the Justice League, which I was super hyped for, it was literally. Oh. Yeah. So it's thundering outside. So if we're struck by lightning, it's not special effects we're adding. Right. It was so disappointing to just see them essentially just smash a whole bunch of characters together who I think deserve to have more of their life expanded upon. But of course, they want to keep it in 2 hours now? What's the limit now? Because before it was an hour and some change.
There's not really a limit, because they released the Batman earlier this year. That was almost 3 hours.
So. Yeah, so there is no limit anymore. And it's just like they want to just snap everything into existence.
It's just they were trying to rush to an Avengers level type thing, and it just you can't do.
No,
the reason why the Avengers movie worked was because we had spent all this time getting to know the characters in other movies. So
not to mention, I think they're compete like. I think the reason the Infinity Stone Saga was so great was because they were competing against themselves. There was really nobody there. And DC is just constantly like...
Yeah, that's a good point that a lot of people have brought up, because, there's like a loud majority, or I should say a loud minority out there that isn't so hyped about like the latest string of movies that have come out, like Eternals, Doctor Strange.
Me being one of them, I'm a little bit like,
but a lot of people have brought up some good points. Is like, because they want it to feel like Phase 1, because back in Phase 1, that's when Marvel actually had to try.
Yeah,
they had something to prove.
Yeah.
So
even sorry to cut you on, but even then, if I remember, Iron Man started off as a character that was like, if we fuck this up, it's a character that we don't really care for. Yeah, I mean, if it goes good,
Iron Man on paper should not have worked whatsoever.
It shouldn't,
because Marvel had went bankrupt in the 90s. Sold all their most popular characters to other studios.
Spider-Man.
They didn't have Spider-Man, Wolverine, nobody like that.
And even the actor playing it, Robert Downey Jr. was
Robert Downey Jr. His career was in the toilet.
Yeah.
And to bring this, at the time, C-list character from the comics and make an entire movie where they didn't have a script. Most of that movie was improvised.
Yeah.
And to have it work on such a monumental level is unreal. So
it was the best beginning ever, because it literally, I think, apart from it being the Avengers story, I think is the Robert Downey Jr. story, because it literally is the beginning of Iron Man and the ending of Iron Man as that specific character on its own. And like I told you, like for so long, like DC wants to compete so bad with Marvel, and it's like, no, you can't, because you're not there yet. You're the scrawny kid in the.
No, I will say I don't think it's DC's fault. It's Warner Brothers at the end of the day. I've always said the biggest villain of the DC universe is Warner Brothers.
Corporate entity.
Money. They've screwed so many things up from the TV side to the movie side and everything. And to really think back to it, like DC was like the first big comic book entity, dating all the way back to like 1939 or whenever it was. So
they have Superman for you know, which is like the hero
Superman
of
was these like the prototype. You know, so it's sad to see. Like, I'm still excited for Black Adam. Still excited for
sure.
Shazam 2 and all of that. I don't know what's gonna happen with Aquaman 2 with Amber Heard. I don't know what's gonna happen with the Flash.
That movie, this is maybe, I don't know if it's a popular or unpopular opinion, but that movie to me, oh Jesus, I never the Aquaman movie,
the first one.
Frankly, I didn't like Amber Heard. Period. The storyline seemed a little bit like, I could care less. The introduction was a little bit bleh. I could, and then I don't know, like I've always said that like they make fun of Aquaman because of like he has talks to fish and all this stuff of that nature, and I get they try to make him look like a bad boy. Here's Jason Momoa, this hot looking dude, but it didn't match up with what I wanted. I was so
that's fair.
Like I was saying before, I just think like DC definitely needs to one or two things. Avoid whatever corporate crap is going on, because like you said, at the end of the day, while we say like, oh, this movie's great or we want this to be great, it's that money that needs to be great. And the problem is that a lot of times we forget as fans that this is a business at the end of the day. And what's so crazy about this is like we talk about like, oh, this movie's ballooning up to 90 mil, but the fact that, like you said, if I put out a project or if I start a project and I don't make it, it didn't cost me anything but my time. But $90 million,
that's a lot of
time,
money.
Dude. That's insane. From the people that build the sets, just to be like, we got paid, but they're never running this thing.
That's crazy.
Hey, best of luck to DC and all their. I mean, I think that like, I don't know, I think for the foreseeable future, if they really do want to eventually compete with Marvel, they really do need to kind of act like Marvel's not there. But I don't think critics, I don't think the fan base or anybody out there can.
One thing I will say,
we'll do that for them,
is the best like DC movies we've gotten in the last, let's say, 10 years or so have been the ones that haven't tried to connect or build to a larger universe. Even the ones that are part of the universe, like the first Shazam movie is really great. I like the Birds of Prey movie. The Batman is amazing. So if they can just focus on making a good movie first, and then building, to something bigger.
And even I think what was it? One was the one where Thanos was first introduced in the
Avengers.
In the Avengers, right?
At
the post-credit scene, like you said, make a good one-off movie. Throw something at the end. Just, I don't know, have a writer say, who can they fight? I don't know.
Well,
Polka Dot Man.
That has pros and cons, because I don't know if you saw or heard about the Morbius post-credit scenes, but are some of the worst post-credit scenes
I heard of them
of all time.
You know what's so funny? I was actually hyped to go see it, and then I saw the reviews. I was like, never mind.
So which is another thing. Like, I feel like DC should have just released the movie anyway, because even if it does end up being bad, like, you can still make money off of that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Morbius being the example, like, it became a meme, So
and even like you said, they'll make money one way or another. Whether it like the saying like no press is bad press,
right?
Someone's still gonna go, it can't be that bad. Ka-ching, take my money. Oh wait, it was as horrible as it says. Or even like what is that movie that's considered like the worst? The Room, the worst movie of all time, where it's like considered like or even what was the Martha movie where they're like Martha?
Batman v Superman.
Which
by the way, I do love that movie, the Ultimate Edition.
Not the
theatrical version. Not
that great. So, like you said, they just need to focus on making a movie that is just good overall. It shouldn't connect to anything, and then you could build up something. I think you need to get a couple victories to then, lead up to a championship, you can say.
Right. And just because like movie doesn't like meet your expectations as far as box office or critical or audience reception, it's not the end of the world.
Yep.
So speaking of the end of the world,
oh Jesus, what a
hey, get used to it. I'm gonna have these transitions ready.
What a horrible transition. Talking about the end of the world.
I mean, it may or may not be. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but so I saw an article on IGN where scientists figured that the world is like slowly spinning faster.
Jesus.
Not sure what it can mean, but they said this past June 29th. Wow.
God is like, you shut your mouth right now.
This past June 29th was the shortest recorded day in history.
You're joking.
Yeah, it was, I believe they said it was 1.59 milliseconds shorter than the average day.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Which is like crazy to think about. It's like you ever have that feeling like, oh,
the day, where did the day go?
Yeah, where did the day go?
You're just
not enough hours in the day.
Yeah,
yeah. Maybe because this is why. Like
this global warming shit is messing us up. And what's so crazy? You bring this up as something you found, but so I was recently working on some plumbing stuff with my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were talking about, stuff that they run underground. And he recently told me, for whatever reason, we were making a joke. And I'm like, maybe I might hit the electricity line, right? Ha ha ha. Why? Because the electricity line's over the top. And then he goes, actually, in more modern homes, electricity is now being run through the bottom to avoid trees falling over, something hitting. Basically, because the way, electricity works is, if down the street, the pole that brings you electricity gets knocked over, then you have no electricity.
Yeah.
So he goes, they're starting to put these lines of electricity through the bottom, but they're very, very hot due to the nature of electricity.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's like, because of it, the world's spinning faster. And I was like, oh. I was like, well, that's cool. I was like, I didn't know that. But I took it off as in like, oh, my uncle saw this on Facebook, or like, here's a new theory that they're dropping now to, to avoid, whatever thing. And so now that you bring it up, I'm like, so he was right.
Right. Like that's crazy to think about, that the world is spinning faster, but we don't really feel the effects.
Right. Or that we have some type of impact on it.
Yeah.
Because the most impact you can have on time is just procrastinating.
Right.
Hence why we never release the other podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, like, it's insane now. I mean, recently I left my job working at a warehouse, and it's hot outside.
Yeah.
I hadn't felt this type of heat in a while.
Yeah.
And when
this summer has been insane.
Stupid hot. Like, so much so that like before, let's say like today was a kind of cloudy day where we're at an undisclosed location.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fresh in the morning. It was a little bit, it drizzled a little bit, but the way that the heat ramped up the moment the clouds went away, it was just like a snap of the finger and you were at 90 degrees. And I was like, why is it this hot all of a sudden?
Like, we have to keep the AC blasting at my job, and literally as soon as I step out the door, my glasses fog up because it's so humid.
Yeah.
And
it's just always hot.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it, like in places like in South America where like it's hotter than here.
Yeah, like,
and it's just like
so
a normal
humid, like it's just thick.
Yeah. Like you said, it's the best way to describe it. The air is just thick for no reason with 2 C's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how they do it. And I have a coworker that's going to Chile, and she's like, oh yeah, I need to get some coats and stuff. And I was like, you're going to die.
Right.
But she's like, no, it's winter down there right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, cool.
That's really interesting, because I recently had cousins over, and they're from London, and
cool.
they were like, yeah, like the seasons, over here are like so different, because they just have like dry season, wet season. Like it's a season where like it just rains all the time, and then just a season where there's nothing and it's just hot. But like, you guys have spring, you have
all these different complex. I didn't know this before, but like I always thought that like since we're in summertime, then it must mean that we're closest to the sun, right? That's what I used to think. But turns out that actually no. Technically, we're as close as we can be to No, it was the other way around. Sorry. Winters for some reason is, of course, as most people might know, winter for us in the U.S. is actually summer for all the places down south, South America. That's why Christmas they celebrate it at the beach, which is crazy to me.
Opposite side of the world.
So I thought I was like, oh, so then we must be super far away from the sun. Well, actually, we're at the closest we can be from the sun, but the axis on it makes us farther away from it, therefore making it cold. And I was like, that's crazy to think that just a simple tilt is the only difference we have between, being freezing cold and versus like scorching hot.
Yeah, and I read somewhere is like if like the entire planet Earth was just like a little bit closer to the sun, we'd all burn up. And if it was a little bit farther, we'd all freeze. Like it's at the perfect
the Goldilocks zone as they call it. Yeah. That's insane. That to me has always been like the craziest thing. Just to kind of sit there and like we lucked out pretty well, like just to spawn here, essentially spawn here and go like, well, this place is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Or like, what also is super like crazy to me? Like dinosaurs. The fact that these ginormous animals or dinosaurs were just roaming around here, and then one day it was like, well, time to die, and then it's like reset. It's crazy.
The interesting thing about dinosaurs is I have a theory that because I know like paleontologists, they can, try to figure out, the structure of like the bones and like how they fit together.
Yeah.
And from that, they can infer what they looked like. But there's no definitive way to know.
Yeah. It's kind of like putting a puzzle together.
Yeah. Like if because like you said, like if you're putting together a puzzle of something you have never seen in your life, there's no way to know if you're correct.
Yeah, that's true.
So I always find that interesting because it's like, I mean, like, like what if they look completely different? Like, what if dinosaurs look like that lamp? Like
like the lamp from Pixar,
right? Like you never know. So,
yeah, that's true. No, but that's what happened with Megalodon. The first time they figured out that there was a ginormous shark that once you roam the seas, they took the teeth and essentially arranged them in a as you would think you would arrange teeth one next to the other and then make it, and ended up making this gigantic mouth, which was like, wow, this Megalodon is like the size of like 30 buses or whatever. And then they realized, they're like, oh wait, this one goes here, that one should go there. And then they're like, oh, okay. So they were a bit larger than the great whites.
Right.
And then, and it's funny because like you said, they make them without ever seeing them, or at least the first people to ever realize like, oh, there's a gigantic bone here. Like whose chicken bone is this?
Yeah.
Right. Like I've always thought that it's like making a puzzle where all the pieces match each other, and then you're just literally like, does this one go here? I mean, it could, but this needs to be here.
Right.
I recently found out that most dinosaurs had feathers.
Yeah.
I was like,
birds are apparently descendants of dinosaurs.
Yeah, or chickens.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like if you look at chickens' feet, they literally have that little foot from like I always every time I think of dinosaurs I think of Jurassic Park. So I always think and I think of them and I'm always like, there was no feathers in this movie. The accuracy is not correct.
Right.
Chris Pratt lied to me. Oh man. Yeah, so hey, the earth is spinning fast. No, it's going faster.
Yeah, it's spinning fast.
Faster, getting hotter. And monkeypox is out here. So that is insane.
It really is. You know what else is insane?
Great.
I'm gonna keep them coming every time. So you heard about the what was it? $1.2 billion lottery.
Oh yeah. I was so mad I wasn't able to buy a ticket in time.
So apparently, first of all, I think like after taxes, it's like only 400 and something million.
I like how you said only. Like, oh yeah, no, it's just.
I know, but that's more than half than what it originally was.
Oh yeah, like, taxes are a bitch for sure,
man. Like,
it's crazy how the lottery can literally take you from just being a regular scrub, going to work, to like, oh no, you're being taxed like the rich because you are now officially rich.
Which is like crazy to think about. And I saw this video, and I later found out it was fake, but this guy he was acting like, he's flexing on Instagram with his lottery ticket, showing the numbers and everything. It's like, if I won the lottery, I would not let anyone know.
No, why would you?
I would literally disappear.
Yeah. Why would I ever? Yeah, we are recording. Okay, we're back.
All right. Yeah. So if I won the lottery, I would literally disappear. Like,
wouldn't hear from me no more.
No one would hear from me.
I don't blame you. Why would anybody hear from you?
Because
it's your business.
Yeah, because people were joking about it. Like, if someone were to show their lottery ticket online, it's like, someone out there will find you from the texture of your cabinets, bro. Like,
have you ever seen Don't Mess with Cats, or what is it, Don't Fuck with Cats?
Mm-mm.
So it's on Netflix, and essentially it's a documentary style movie, documentary, where basically this guy was posting videos online of him abusing cats, so much so that he put these kittens inside of one of those vacuum sealed bags and then vacuumed out the air. Jesus. Trust me, it's horrible stuff. I don't know why people do these things. And then him put them in the freezer, open them back up, doing these crazy things, and they literally found him off of his dresser, his blanket that he had on top, his I'm blanking out on what is it called, the comforter on top. Somehow they figured out his entire identity off of a Facebook group.
Yeah,
just found him.
The way technology is going, I don't know if you've seen this guy on TikTok. I can't remember his name, but he does this game where he can figure out where something is on Google Maps, just by looking at a picture. It's like, this dude did the freaking soil. He was like, oh, that's Zimbabwean soil. I'm like, how do you know that?
How much have you have to travel to be exactly. I can tell any soil from where?
Yeah. And he'll be so close to it. He'll be so close to the location the picture was taken. It's like,
I'll suck somebody out if they did something like that. I'll suck you out right then and there. What would you just say? Suck.
The technology age is
it literally has gotten to the point now where it's kind of becoming like Batman. Batman can see where a bullet was shot from, who shot it. He can literally be like, the person is cold. He must have been shivering, so therefore he shot at an angle that's weird. Right, you know?
Man.
It is crazy with it. And it's good and bad for two reasons. One, you find crime, criminals, stuff of that nature. But one of the biggest trends that I've seen, especially with streamers, is when they raid someone's house. I forget the actual term of it, but basically someone figures out where they live, figures out the location, will call to their local police through voice over internet, which is, you can make it anonymous, so there's no way to track you back. Will say, hey, this person has 2 people hostage with a gun, blah, 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 blah. The SWAT, getting swatted, there it is. Which I thought was when you get blocked in basketball, but it's not that. So essentially, the SWAT team shows up, breaks down your door, guns fully pointed at people, just because somebody on stream was like, it'd be funny to, mess with this person. And it's horrible.
That's crazy. And what's even crazier is I saw this other TikTok of this lady warning people about posting your children online.
Yeah,
because
even that's
they can figure out their school district and where they stay, the playground they play at, and all that stuff. And it's really terrifying to think about that. You just posted an innocent video of a child dancing, and some creep out there can, track him down.
Did you know what happened on YouTube where they had to take away on children's content? You can't timestamp anymore. And it was because there was an entire pedophile ring who essentially had a group website where they were all talking. Essentially they would put links with timestamps to children doing things like getting in the water in a bathing suit and all these different things. And essentially they were just going straight to these videos.
That's terrible.
Which is insane. Yeah. And then another thing too that man, I'm kind of glad I'm not a stupid kid 13, 14, 15 years old when how prevalent the internet is, because the stuff people do online now, and like you said, somebody can figure out who you are in a snap of a finger. Even my brother my brother now, like he goes to like a little magnet program or whatever, and he has like a little, of course, like a little label or something saying like, oh, magnet program or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if he does something crazy, like, do you remember Amber Cole?
Yeah.
Do you remember the infamous video?
Yeah.
If you had seen where Amber Cole was from, what school she was going to in today's world, your life is over.
Yeah.
You, like, all your friends would know, your family members would see it. Like before, like the biggest problem was your friends seeing or watching you do something stupid. Like I remember the worst thing that could happen back when I was in middle school was you getting into a fight, you losing, and somebody recording it and putting it on YouTube for people to watch it. Now you do something stupid, your entire family would see it because now your grandparents are on Facebook, your aunts, uncles, anything you do on the internet it's now forever. There. And it, like you said, it's stamped forever. No matter what you do to it, somebody will have a version of it somewhere and they can post it, do whatever they want to it, and there's not much you can do.
Black Mirror.
Right? It literally has become that now. People are like, well, let's just hope things get better.
Right. So on a much lighter note, I did want to talk about like what's been some of your just like favorite stuff of the year, like
favorite
movies,
stuff of the year.
TV shows, albums, anything like that.
So favorite thing, well, not to brag or anything, but I recently became a member at the PC Master Race.
Oh God, here we go.
And I don't know for how much, like, I literally last night I was playing Bully and the intro is, I know this game is 15 years old. I wasn't allowed to play it as a kid, so I'm playing it now. Yeah. And it just being able to essentially finally have a gaming, I haven't had a console, and I want to say, wait for dramatic effect, 10 years.
Wow.
I haven't had, the last gaming console I had of my own was a PlayStation 2.
Wow. Do I still have my PS2? I think I still have
I got my PlayStation 2 back at 20 or 19 years old. Still played it and was very happy with the performance. Yeah. Super excited for it. And the other day, and I got it primarily for editing, but I also got it for gaming. And so much so that like the other day I started up one of my favorite games, which is Dead by Daylight. I've watched people play it hundreds of times. I literally, that's the only, like one of, like if you catch me on my break eating or during lunch, I'm watching Dead by Daylight. Yeah. And I had already purchased Dead by Daylight a long time ago, but my computer just could never run it. So when I finally downloaded it and got it going, and it was just crisp, smooth, full resolution. And I remember looking back at my brother and I was like, look, it's at ultra settings. And he's like, what did you expect? You just spent all this money on a making a PC. What did you think it was
better run like that?
And I didn't spend like a crazy ton of money, but for most people, well, nowadays everything's gotten way more expensive. I mean, iPhones are what, $1,000 at the, like if you want, the best of the, not even the best of the best. If you want to, back in the day, remember it was like 8 gigs, 16 gigs, and 32 gigs. If you had a 32 gig phone, you were somebody. Yeah, you were somebody. You couldn't just be like kid in school. No, you had to be doing something to get that 32 gigs. 32 gigs was an honor.
Now the smallest is what, 64?
Yes. Yeah. Now, like, if you have a 64 gig phone, people are like, do you not save? Do you not take pictures? Do you not have life? What's going on with you? And it's so funny because like back then, like 8 gigs was a few good amount of pictures, a few hundred pictures, a few games on your phone. Now 8 gigs is not even an update on a game or on any app that you have. You'd be out of storage now, immediately. So biggest thing I've been excited for that. Are you saying for the entire year or for that's happened?
Like either the year so far, like 2022.
Year so far, definitely the PC. The thing is too about getting old and finally buying the things that you want is you don't have the same amount of time you wish you had from back then. Thankfully, I have a little bit more time than I do than before. So man, I'm making up for lost time. Playing Bully, I'm dropping that soon too, and by soon I mean within maybe the next week or two, because all it is like if you want to see Bully, and here's my public service announcement. Please, we need to get a Bully remake Or a remake.
Bully 2.
Yeah, or Bully 2. A remake would get me through another 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if they want to make a Bully 2, and look, here's my pitch. Forget high school, forget boarding school, blah, 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 blah. College. Lit. You could literally be GTA.
That's basically GTA.
No, the GTA is adults. College, you don't gotta put guns in it if you don't want to. That could be the last final thing, because that would be kind of morbid to be shooting up, blah, blah, blah. But college, bagging chicks in college, doing all this, because the best thing you could do is like smooch on there. But even then, after a while, you kind of knew how to get to that. But I'm telling you, there needs to be a Bully 2 college edition, because this one's called Bully Scholarship Edition, which is like you get a couple other little, cosmetics or whatever. But Bully 2 college edition, bro. But then again, like you said, it would be just GTA 5.
Rockstar is making too much money on GTA, so much so they've abandoned Red Dead Online.
We need to boycott GTA 5 online. Nobody play it because they first too long. Do you know when GTA 5 dropped? Do you remember?
2013.
I was
10 years ago.
I was like a sophomore, junior in high school. Yeah, sophomore. And they haven't made a new game. They just done. Well, I mean, they does do
the
game mode.
Prints money. Think about it like this: every kid that gets a PlayStation or an Xbox for the first time, what's the first game they want to play?
GTA.
Exactly,
bro.
Like
basically reliving life, but just what you couldn't do ever.
Yeah. So as long as they're making money off GTA, I don't see them.
Like I said, there's so many things that Rockstar has though. Like another
LA Noire.
Yeah. Right. Why have they not made that? Here's another very controversial, but I think it would have a place now. But there was a Rockstar game called Manhunt 2. Manhunt, it's a Manhunt series. Manhunt 1, Manhunt 2. Manhunt 2 being essentially the nightmare of parents back in the day. So much so that it was banned in a lot of countries. But if they dropped a Manhunt 3, and then not as gory, not as crazy, I felt that would be pretty good too. Like a psychological thriller kind of game. That would be great. Let me see, what else does they have? Also, I love this game, and all my references are from the PlayStation 2 because, as I've stated, the last console I had was a PlayStation 2. Rockstar has, sorry to cut you off,
You're good.
Midnight Club, which is a racing game with modding cars. And my favorite one of all time is Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition Remix. Play that game right now. Still holds up. It was held in Atlanta. It was held in Chicago. It was held in, I forget the other city. No, Detroit. It was Detroit. And I forget the other city they was held in. There's so many things that they can pull from, but GTA is just suffocating every bit of every game that could be released.
I mean, I feel like if you had a PlayStation and you got the premium tier, not sponsored, but PlayStation,
Holla at us. Ka-ching.
But they have in the premium tier, they have like a lot of the classic, PS1, PS2, PS3 games on there. None of the ones you mentioned, some of them are remastered, like the PS3 ones, but
I'll let that slide. I'll even take that. But
there's still some gems on there that I feel like are missing, like Def Jam, the Def Jam games.
Oh yeah, that
Fight
is
for
them.
New York.
Yeah, that is them.
They need to put Dragon Ball, Tenkaichi 3, Budokai.
Oh yeah, that is also them.
What else?
Rockstar, what are you doing?
Oh no, not Rockstar. Yeah, Rockstar didn't make those.
Oh, okay. I thought you made.
No, I was just saying like PS2 games.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh yeah, the biggest thing with those is that I hope that if they do make a sequel to them or whatever, that they do it right and they don't just slap on something and say like, here, take it.
For sure.
But I mean, at the end of the day, that's the risk you roll with every single game. And sure, you might get a remastered, but it might be awful. It's kind of like Fallout. At times, like most games are now more and more centered towards multiplayer. Why? Because it makes the most money. You can sell so many cosmetics for it. You can do all these different things. But like the recent Fallout, so much so that I don't even know what the title is, but the most recent Fallout was a catastrophe. Why? Because it literally was an open world where multiplayer, blah, 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 and then it lost its appeal. It literally went straight to the ground. So
okay, yeah. So I was gonna talk about like some of the games and like movies I've played and watched this year. I really like. I don't know if you've heard about the Stanley Parable.
Yes, I have heard of the Stanley Parable.
That
great and funny kind of game.
Yeah. So they released like the Ultra Deluxe Edition this year, and it's basically a sequel. But it's essentially like just the original game, and like they added like a lot more endings to it.
Gotcha.
So
I thought it was like after what happens, then you continue. It's like Stanley woke up and realized that this was all a game.
No. But yeah, like it's hilarious, especially as someone like I never played like the original back on PC or anything. But yeah, it's just a hilarious game that has like meta commentary on gaming in general. And just finding like all the different endings and everything is really cool. And I recently I got the platinum in the game yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, the platinum trophy.
It's on PlayStation?
Yeah. It's on all platforms now, I think.
Yeah, because before it was what? Only PC? PC exclusive?
Yeah. And what's cool about the trophies in the game is, again, they go into like the meta commentary, because one of the trophies is click on this door 5 times. So like you go to that door, you click it 5 times, and the narrator is just like, what are you doing? Like clicking on the door just for a trophy? Like, no, there's no effort in that. Like, maybe if you click it 20 times. So you click it 20 times. Like, nah, I'm still not feeling it. Try 50. And so you do it. It's like, you're like, no, you really have to work for this. Go to door 417 and click it 20 times. All right, now go to door 415 and click it 5 times.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Click the photocopier. Stand on this desk. Like, and as you do all this stuff, and like eventually you get back to it, and you get the trophy and everything. But like, again, like just the meta commentary of it.
Yeah. Is it, sorry to cut you off, is it probably in this one, but if you do something for so long, literally the narrator would be like, this person has no life, and you'll get a
oh yeah, so there's a trophy that is called, in the original game it was called Go Outside.
Yeah. And that's the one I'm talking about.
In the Ultra Deluxe Edition it's called Super Go Outside. So in the original it was don't play the game for 5 years. So you have to close the game, not play it for 5 years, come back, you get the achievement. But this one, it's 10 years. And I said, I'm not going to remember to come back to play this game in 10 years. So I just set my calendar for 10 years in the future.
No, it would happen.
It still worked.
It was just like, cool.
Yeah. So I got the trophy. But the one I did actually earn was it's the commitment trophy. And it's basically you have to play the game for the entire duration of a Tuesday. So from 12 a.m. Tuesday to 11:59 p.m. The game has to be like on.
Can it be like on, like as in like you can't open any other game? It just has to be there playing.
It just has to be. You have to be playing that game.
Physically moving?
No, you don't have to physically
just have to open.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Jesus.
And so that's what I did to get the platinum. This past Tuesday, and so I had started it. Monday night or whatever, had the game open, and because I was like scared of like it just being stuck on one thing and like it being like burnt into my TV or something like that.
Oh yeah, that is a thing that can happen.
I like found like a dark corner in the game and like just put it there, turned off my rest mode settings and everything. I just had my controller plugged in, and so I just went to sleep. I had it going. When I woke up, it was still going and everything. Went to work, came back, still going. And so,
and now my TV won't turn on.
No. So like now, like around maybe like 5 o'clock, like I just started, playing the game regular again, just revisiting endings and stuff like that. And like randomly at 7 o'clock or like 7:57 or something like that, I got the trophy. I was like, that's weird. It's not the full 24 hours. But it turns out it didn't have to be consecutive. It just had to be at all hours of the day on a Tuesday. You had to be playing the game. So if you did 4 hours of a Tuesday here, 6 hours of a Tuesday here. So I was like, that's interesting. But yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay. That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's one of those feel good games, as I like to call them.
For sure.
Because they're just fun to play with. There's no really like winning. I mean, you could end the game. Yeah, like there's endings. Yeah, but
there's no like beating the game.
Yeah,
there's no one definitive ending.
Yeah, and like you said, you could always go back and replay it, and it still has replay.
Replay value.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of games don't have that, especially story based ones, where once you get all the endings. Like for example, I don't see like. This is, well, I mean, it's similar. Well, not really similar. It's a horror game. As we all know, Five Nights at Freddy's. Once you know the lore, once you know the endings, who's ever going back to play, like, Five Nights at Freddy 1? I might, if you comment enough on this, I might just play it in the dark, because I'm a wuss. Wow. I'm just plugging myself the entire podcast. But, once you get those, like, there's games, like, for that one, like, once you get the endings, who plays it? Like, oh, another jump scare. Like,
because that's sort of like how I feel about the Quarry. Like, played the Quarry earlier this year, and I only played through it once. I got an ending.
Fun fact: I've not watched this or played this.
Oh yeah, then. Boom! That's gonna be like an October stream we should do.
Yeah, for sure. Like
because we can play it together in like
really?
different.
I have no. Is it a PC PlayStation?
No. It's on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, all that.
Oh, cool. So we can Does it have crossplay?
I'm not sure.
But either way, we'll play it together.
Yeah. It's a really dope game. Where you make the choices for the different characters.
Is it like that game that was a couple years back? Until Dawn. Yeah.
Same developers, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a spiritual sequel to that game.
Oh, not bad.
New characters and everything, but
that
similar concept.
Until Dawn, I remember when it came out, it really was stop everything you're doing, play it, because everybody's supposed to get different endings. And I remember seeing a few playthroughs when they've gone through all the different endings, and there's so many little things you can collect that ultimately put the story together.
Yeah,
and
same with the Quarry.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So it's a lot of fun. Like I put my brother onto it. He's playing it with one of his friends. So
you know what game we should really play? And I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a 2-player game. It's a co-op game, and essentially it's 2 people in prison. And we're trying.
Oh, yeah, I have that.
You have that?
Yeah.
Yo, we need to play that.
Yeah.
Leave a like, comment if you wanted to see us play that.
Right. I have A Way Out. It Takes Two as well. It's a really good one. I really want to see a resurgence of like local 2-player games. Yeah. With a story, because everything is just online multiplayer.
Yep. Battle Royale.
Yeah, Battle Royale.
That's all it is now.
That's why I'm holding out like expectations for the Gotham Knights game and the Suicide Squad game, because those are gonna be multiplayer, and they said you can do multiplayer in the like story mode campaign as well.
Is it kind of like what is it called, Sniper Elite, the most recent one? So what happens is you essentially, it's of course you can play story online, zombies or whatever. But essentially, you can play the story mode, and there's an option where you could turn on where other snipers are allowed to join into your game and kill you.
Oh no, it's not like that.
That was pretty. That was pretty cool, because basically what you can do is you can join in and literally hunt down somebody, and then like one of two things: either they kill you or you kill them, by therefore fucking up their playthrough, and they're like, "Fuck, now I have to restart this."
Yeah, that's similar to Deathloop.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it came out last year. It's on PC as well. It's basically you play this dude who lost his memory, and he wakes up on this island. and in order to like escape
Well said.
and get his memory back, he has to kill I think 8 targets. And
how do you wake up at an island and you're like, I must kill 8 people?
No, because like you start to like figure like things out as you go out.
That you wake up one day, that would should just be called psychopath.
But the trick of it is like you have until the end of the day, otherwise he resets the loop. It wakes up on the island again.
That's not bad.
Yeah, and so there is a multiplayer option to it where you can like players can come in and they play this other character called Juliana who's connected to him and is like pissed at him and wants to kill him as well. And so players playing as Juliana can go in and try to mess up like his kills and everything, but you can also kill her too as the protagonist. I think his name is Cole or something like that.
Oh, okay.
I tried it out. It's not my cup of tea because it's first person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, first person shooters make me nauseous. So
that's the biggest gripe I have against Drew. The fact that you're like first person shooters can't do that.
Oh man, bro, I can't do it. But I am excited for the.
What about third person view?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, third person. Yeah, I mean that's all I can play is third person if I'm not playing.
Well, what if it's a shooter in third person? Okay,
cool. Last of Us, Uncharted.
Yeah, that is true.
Because Last of Us is coming out with the multiplayer game like next year or the year after or something.
Hopefully, it doesn't happen like the first time they did that. Just sunk after like the first 2 weeks. People played it. Goodbye.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like its own like standalone game. So that'll be really exciting. But what else? What else was I gonna say? Sifu was another really good game.
That's true. About they started, I was like, "What a transition!" Seafood. No. Yeah, let's talk about it. No, I love shrimp.
Now the game Sifu, SIFU.
No, you too.
It's a martial arts game, and I've noticed like a lot of games have been adopting this like time loop sort of like roguelike, concept. But basically, you play as this martial arts student who's unnamed, but he witnesses his father and like all his father's like students like murdered by this like group of people or whatever that is like after like a talisman or something.
Oh wow.
And he or she, you can play as a man or woman, gets murdered and they're brought back to life because of a magical charm. And so that goes into like the gameplay of the game where you're fighting. If you get killed, you can revive, but you come back older. So every time you die, so like let's say because you start out at 20 years old, so let's say you die the first time, you come back as 21. If you don't defeat the enemy who killed you in time and you die again, that's your second death. So you're 21, you come back as 23. So it compounds.
It adds more and more. Like if you didn't learn the first time, buddy,
so like once you like defeat them, then your death counter goes down, but your age stays the same. So if you die once, you're 21, and then you get your death counter down back to 0. You die again, you'll be 22. The next time, but like it compounds, and so every 10 years, your health gets lower, but your attacks are stronger. You know what I'm saying? So, and with the way the skill tree works, it's cut off at like every 10 years, and it plays into that whole thing like old dog can't learn new tricks. You know what I'm saying? So it's a really interesting game. It's pretty short, but it has like replay value. Because it's 5 bosses, 5 levels with 5 bosses, and at first it's like very difficult, but like once you like get the hang of it, like it's a steep learning curve, but like once you like learn enemy patterns and stuff like that, it's a really dope game.
Think any game that has I think like a lot of times most people think that like in order for a game to be good, it has to just be enjoyable, easy to play, but I think there's a lot of value in. It's a steep learning curve.
It's a challenge.
It's a challenge. You have to learn it. The same thing happened to me when I started playing Dead by Daylight. Now that I can play it at full resolution or whatever, like I was so used to seeing these people online play the game, and in Dead by Daylight, there's a lot of looping. And for example, like, of course, you're a survivor, so you have no weapons, and the killer, of course, depending on what it is, like, for example, if it's Michael Myers, of course, he can stalk you and has like a one-shot kill. If he's Leatherface, he has his chainsaw, he can chainsaw you, and there's a multitude of people in there. Freddy Krueger can put you to sleep, so on and so forth, all these different things. And so I always saw that there's a lot of focus on looping, right? But I would always see them like, okay, so they have this amount of loops. He jumps over this way. Okay, now he's running behind and he can see where he's about to do this. So now he's going to go this way. But once you actually play it, it's not like, it shows you the level, like you appreciate how good a person is once you actually play it yourself. And you're like, no, this is difficult. This is not for sure. I'm going to get it on the first go type of thing. And speaking of things that we're excited for this year, I'm really excited for Cuphead. The DLC that's coming out for Cuphead.
Is it already out?
I think it should be out. No, it is out. As a matter of fact, I'm going crazy. I haven't played it, but I need to play it. But basically, Cuphead, for anybody who hasn't played it, is in the style of old video games like before. It's not 3D, it's 2D, and it's not a side scroller. It literally is an homage to Contra. For anybody who's never played Contra, it literally is an homage to that. Where yes, the enemies have the same repetitive things, but it's not about a new move that they're gonna throw at you. It's about the skill that it takes to master each and every single thing, And I love it that game challenged you to the point where, for example, a lot of times it's really bosses. All of them are essentially boss battles, and essentially you're supposed to collect them to go to the next part. Each one has sometimes 3 to 4 different phases where the boss will essentially change different forms. The last form, of course, being the most difficult one. And the best thing that the game does is, for example, when you die, it tells you where you at you failed. So it keeps you at this thing where, like, sometimes you're at the very edge and you're like, yo, I could have had that, and you jump back in. And it's crazy because I've played it with my brother, I played it with my fiance, and my brother's a gamer, but my fiance is not. And both of them finish the game or go by saying, yo, let's get back into it. Like, it's one of those things where, although it will frustrate people who really do just want to have a regular day, but when you get into it, you're into it. It's essentially the equivalent. Well, not the equivalent. Have you ever played Overcooked?
No, but people have been telling me.
It's one of the best party games. Like, if you have friends over, and like a party's going on, maybe you have a little, something going on, a little activity. Overcooked is so great because it's a team. It literally is a team game where both of you guys are cooking, but it's so funny because it's little characters, things that don't really matter. But how intense it gets once you're in there, you're like, yo, my lasagna's about to be gone, bro. Like, passes through, or like, yo, who's chopping up the chicken? I'm frying up this. This is about to burn, Yeah, I'm starting to feel it. Yeah, so if you guys hear a little rumbling, it's because we're currently
poorly ventilated room.
I was gonna say a sauna. We're recording inside of a sauna. A bunch of naked Asian men around us. Like Conan, have you seen that?
Or no, for some reason my mind went to New Girl.
Oh,
but yeah.
The ones that I laughed so hard was the one with Conan when he goes with Stephen Young from Walking Dead, and they go to a Korean spa, and they get there, and he's like, Stephen, like, you seem a little nervous. Like, yeah, you're supposed to walk around here naked. It's like, what? What do you mean? Like, yeah, like you can't wear anything. It's like, what? I haven't been naked. It kind of, what show I recently started watching, and this is kind of going off into another tangent, is Arrested Development.
No, it's
still
topic.
This is still a topic? Yeah.
Things you've experienced.
Yeah, Michael Cera. Who is it? David Cross. Yeah,
David Cross and Jason Bateman.
Jason Bateman and dude from the Reese's commercials. Dang it, I forgot his name. Will Arnett.
Okay, yeah.
Will Arnett, Ellen's wife, Portia, and a few other characters in there. And David Cross's character cannot be naked, so he wears Daisy Dukes. So at one point he goes to I think it's like a pool shop to go buy like swimming trunks. So he buys a Speedo, but of course he can't be naked. So when he walks out, he's literally wearing a Speedo on top of like denim Daisy Dukes. Oh, hilarious. I love that show so much. It has some of the stupidest gags ever. It has, like, it's just great.
Yeah.
For anybody who wants to watch something comedy-wise, go watch Arrested Development.
If you're looking for another comedy show, New Girl on Netflix.
Really?
Yes. It's a pretty funny show. Basic premise is this girl, she recently broke up with her boyfriend, needs a new place to stay. She ends up moving in with 3 other guys.
Oh.
Shenanigans ensued.
Shenanigans ensued. Is it? Well, I don't want to insult it, but it's not Big Bang Theory. Like, no. Big Bang Theory. I have a gripe against that damn laugh track. Now, some of the jokes I have to admit, some of the jokes are funny. I'll laugh at them, but once somebody tells you ever notice that the laugh track is played so often, it's literally breaking that window in your life.
Because I don't know if you've seen those videos of like Friends where they remove the laugh track. And you realize just how awkward it is.
No,
like,
I haven't.
Oh my god, those videos are hilarious because like it makes Ross especially look like a psycho, and like just like the actors like they literally have to pause for the laugh track to play. And then start talking again. And just like
now that you mentioned it, that's not how life works.
Yeah,
like the fact that there's just these random like, and we can continue now.
Yeah, so like. But yeah, New Girl is a lot of fun. Schmidt and Winston are probably my favorite characters. Like Winston is probably my spirit animal. When you watch the show, you can be like, yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Yeah, a lot of great guest stars. Like probably one of the best guest stars of all time in a show. If you've watched the show, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Just a lot of fun.
Just watch it. Yeah. Just leave it on.
Yeah, just a lot of fun.
Great.
What else?
That we have in store. Let me see. I think one of my stuff that I was going to talk about was like monkeypox ?
What is there to say about monkeypox,
right,
man?
Oh, the release of Joker 2.
Yeah, Joker 2. I mean, I guess it's gonna be a musical with Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. I like the first one.
Yeah.
We'll see.
It's one of those things where like they finished the first one and they realized this was profitable. Let's squeeze it. Let's squeeze it into there's nothing left. Exactly. We lost the Joker before. Let's see if we can lose another one. Let's squeeze. That's literally what.
But I do think it's gonna be good because I feel like Joaquin Phoenix is the type of person that wouldn't come back to do a sequel
if
unless it was gonna be
true. True. Yeah, I just always wish like if something is good, they just left it alone sometimes. Because I've always felt like I was like, there's so many. This usually happens with horror movies. Horror movies are great. The first one is great, and they're like, let's redo the prequel. All right, I'll let you get a prequel in, but then they're like, let's do the sequel. And then it's just madness from there on. That's just
like honestly, Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Fun fact: I've not watched it. I know a lot of the references. I have no idea. Well, I have an idea what it's about. I have an idea of all the pop culture references to it. Never watched it. That should be a series on its own. Just me watching shit I haven't watched.
But Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies of all time. The sequels. I mean, I like the second one. Third one is but it's one of those franchises like I do not want a remake. I don't want a reboot.
You want anything.
A sequel, however many years later. Like I enjoy whenever what's his name? Oh God,
Marty?
Michael J. Fox and why am I blanking on his name? The actor.
The scientist.
Yeah. But yeah, the guy who plays Doc Brown, like I enjoy like when they meet up in like real life and everything. But
you're just like
it's one of those things you cannot touch it because it's so special. And
that happened to the show I was just talking about, Arrested Development. So Arrested Development ended a while back ago, back with like Michael Cera and everything, and Netflix did a reboot on it, and it's not great. It's not good at all.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where you're just like, you had your time and it's gone now. You can't. I'm sorry. Michael Cera,
recreate that magic.
yeah, like while Michael Cera has always maintained that awkward little thing, I'm like, he's not a kid anymore. You can't put him in situations like Michael Cera can't be awkward forever,
right?
And that's what they played on basically. Michael Cera's character being George Michael Jr. Essentially putting him in weird situations. You know, little references. One of the funny references is he's doing a sad walking home, and there's a dog on top of a house. A nod over to Snoopy, and little stuff like that, where they would add. And like you said, once they redo or reboot something, you're like, but why did you do this? Like, you know what I recently was, and then another. Well, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. Another cancer in some shows is letting a show go for too long. The other day, I somehow got my hands on, not even hands on, but just out of curiosity, I kept watching Community after, like, you know, Troy leaves, Pierce dies, and then eventually...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well, if you haven't seen the show at this point, come on, guys, get to it. But it's one of those things where, like, it doesn't really spoil anything of the thing. It actually is one of the funniest episodes when they do his thing. But just watching that show kind of go on, and you could kind of tell everybody's like, so what do we do now? The show is just completely kind of rolling just because we're now forcing it to roll each and every single time. And it's gotten to a point where, like, it's kind of like when cartoons change animators and you're like, for the first time, you're like, what? Why did they look like this? Who are you people? like Patrick? Who are you people? Oh, man. You know what I was thinking? We should make a, what is it, the tier? Yeah, the tier, what is it called? A tier list of SpongeBob episodes. I have
all
a lot
of them?
No.
Like,
no, we're not doing that. No. I'm talking about, as I like to call it, the best of the best, which was the first
God.
First three season? No, how many seasons was it?
I think it was like 3 or 4.
The first 3 or 4 seasons.
Up until when the movie came out.
Yeah, and then the creator leaves and it essentially just evolves into a children's show, which I'm kind of sad that now children's shows are just for children as opposed to, like,
not all of them.
Not
one of my favorite shows that's like still airing now is Craig of the Creek. If you haven't
heard of it.
Oh my God. Craig of the Creek is one of those shows I wish I had as a kid.
Yeah.
Because it's so, like, it does, like, such a good job of showcasing, like, that childlike, you know, like, imagination and, like, wonderment and all that.
It's not like South Park, is it, where it's just like shock value?
No, it's a kid's show.
Oh, it is a kid's show. Oh, okay,
it's on Cartoon Network.
Okay.
You know, but like of course they have jokes in there that, you know,
are meant for the adults,
like people our age, you know, would get and stuff like that. Like, there's even one joke, like, they specifically, like, break the fourth wall. It was like, ask your parents about that one. But
I love those types of jokes.
Yeah, and, you know, like, it reminds me a lot of like Recess from back in the day.
Yeah,
because like the show revolves around, you know, this kid Craig and like his best friends. And like the Creek is just like this hub for like all the kids in the neighborhood. And, like, everybody like has their own, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not posse, but
gang, group.
Yeah, essentially, you know, like their own you know, group. But,
other friends.
Yeah, but, you know, like, nobody is really like hostile with each other, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have maybe certain groups like cliques. Yeah.
There you
go. You know, and, you know, everyone like plays their role, you know, within this kid society and stuff like that. But like, just like the adventures they go on, but then the show is also like really progressive and is, I'd say, like, the blueprint when it comes to showcasing like diversity and inclusivity. Yeah.
But without overdoing it.
Yeah, without it feeling ham-fisted, you know, and stuff like that.
It's not that I have a problem with diversity, but I hate it when they do diversity because they have to, and it's pretty, you can tell it's forced. The character is just a stereotypical you know.
Yeah, like his like in this show, like it's so natural, you know what I'm saying? Like, because obviously, like when I was watching it, you know, like when the first like LGBT character was introduced, you know, like I was taken aback by it, not because it was an LGBT character, because I had never seen that type of representation in a kid's show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. That's usually the last.
Yeah, like
like I remember when like for example, I don't know if you noticed in Arnold, like his best friend is an African American kid, and that was all that. There wasn't really much to that character other than here's a white kid that has a black friend, and therefore he's good, you know.
Yeah, like and you know, again, I think Craig of the Creek speaks to me personally because, you know, Craig, he's a black kid, and you know, his family also plays a big part in the show, and it's not like your like it is and isn't a stereotypical family in the way that like it isn't a stereotypical black family. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because his mother and father are both present. You know, in the house. Oh yeah. You know, they both work jobs.
They used to love throwing that one around.
Because like you know, you find any other show, one of the parents is missing, you know, or one of the siblings.
It always reminds me of kind of Bob's Burgers in a sense, but Bob's Burgers is a little bit more towards adults. But Bob's Burgers had the same thing where, like, I think in the first few episodes, you have a Bob essentially hanging out with I don't want to use the wrong word for it, but essentially someone who's transitioned from man to woman, and he's cool with them. Yeah, he invites them in there, and even there's a character in there that you can obviously tell that he's made that transition over to now being a guy. No, yeah, he's going from a woman to a guy, and it's just like it's not forced. They're not like you said. It's the way that they do it is a lot of times they try to accent this person to just be like, here's our token of, you know, to get through the LGBT, you know, Q community, and we're gone. But as opposed to just making them, these characters exist. They're not a spectacle to look at. They're just normal casual people. And then, like you said, not like I don't know why before they used to do this where like they forced it too much
on a very special episode. Like that's what it like used to be, like the sitcoms in like the 90s and stuff. Like, where they'd have somebody at the beginning, like in this episode, we're gonna talk about homosexuality or this and that. It's like it doesn't have to be a big thing.
Almost as a brace yourself, exactly. You know.
Because like one of my favorite instances of this in Craig of the Creek is just like a recent episode too. Like Craig, he and some other kids like are like planning like a hike or something or whatever. And they go to like another kid's house to pick him up and everything, and this kid is deaf. You know, so like they go to pick him up, and like, you know, he's signing to his dad and everything, you know, telling him like what they're gonna do and everything. And then you know, like Craig, you know, I think he like signs like good to see you, and then like they just going about their adventure, and like, you know, they're all like talking with each other and everything, and then, you know, like they'll sign and everything, and like I believe the deaf kid,
this
like,
is great.
Yeah, like the deaf kid, like he can read lips and everything, so
he doesn't have to always
So, you know, like there's no like jokes about you know, it's like, oh,
you must be really good with women, you know.
Yeah, like you know, there's nothing, you know, like downplaying him or trying to make him look, you know, lesser or weaker or anything like that.
It's not one of those let's explore this person type of thing where, like, for example, they meet this new character. What? Sign language? Right. This is blowing my mind. You can't talk, you know?
Yeah. So it's just a really, really dope show. If you have kids, show it to your kids. Cool. But
sounds pretty dope.
Also part of that, like, it's just a lot of fun and really funny. Like, sometimes like it'll recreate memes, like you know, the you know, Conceited from Wildin' Out. I think that's his name. Yeah. Where he has a cup and he's like,
Yeah.
Yeah, like they recreated that in the show. But
that's wrong.
It's just a whole lot of fun.
He's the guy from Asking No Question. No, that's a different guy.
Yeah,
No.
That's the guy that got booed off stage.
Yeah. I do remember him. Yeah. Different dude. Yeah. I'm
Spoken Reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah. No, like one of the things that I enjoy about, like you said, different shows like that is like when you make silly jokes, they're just fun and they're evergreen. They're not political. And I mean, of course, there's something to be said about political comedy. That's great and all. You know, there's the people like Trevor Noah. But it's overdone. It's overdone. It's simply overdone. And I've always liked that if it's a silly joke, it's a joke for the joke of it. You know, anybody can watch it. Anybody can enjoy it. It's cool, fun, and like you said, the fact that they're including all these different things in a non-political way, and that they're just like, look, these people exist in the world, and it's not taking the other side where it's like we all have to include them, or the other side where it's like we all have to get rid of them. It's just like we exist upon this world. Let's crack jokes. Let's have fun. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the thing, which is great.
And another cool thing about the show that at least I didn't see a lot in shows when I was younger, except for maybe Teen Titans, is that like there's an overarching like story that goes on in the background.
Kind of like really cool. What is it called? Gravity Falls?
Yeah, I haven't watched that actually.
It's actually pretty good. I haven't necessarily watched the entire thing, but definitely each episode kind of has a different building block, and ultimately culminating in like an ending. And they even did like a real life kind of secret thing where like if you went to a location, you found a statue of their villain or whatever, which happens to be a triangle, but I forget the name. Please don't crucify me.
Like the show like does that type of stuff, and I think like the characters like actually like get older and like progress in life. You know, so like. I think at one point he moves from one grade to another. Yeah,
it's not like South Park where they've been in like the fourth grade forever.
Yeah, and like his brother goes off to college and everything. So
no diss to South Park, but come on, guys, this kid's got to grow eventually. I mean, there's not. I love South Park too, but like I think what I used to enjoy it as a kid was just like cursing and just kind of the wow factor. And they have really great episodes, but there are certain episodes where you're just like, I've heard this already. This joke is already made. You know, but they're definitely great shows. But that's awesome.
Let's get into movies.
Yeah.
So what movies have you seen this year?
You're gonna think, man, you're gonna be like, what? Where have you been? I've only seen this year. I've only gone to a movie theater once
to see
Black Phone.
Oh, I heard about that.
Have you watched Black Phone? Really good take on a horror movie, and I know what you're thinking. Horror movie, jump scares.
No. Yeah, I heard like it's not even that type of
literally one jump scare of the entire, and that got me. It was so great that like
it was earned.
Like literally jumped. Fiance to my right, coworker to my right, other coworkers to the right. Sitting there watching, like, oh, this is pretty dope. Ooh, woo! Hold on, wait a minute. Whoa, hold on, wait. When did this come out of nowhere? It was one of those things where you didn't hear it coming, and when I say you didn't hear it coming, because literally, boom, you didn't hear none of that. It wasn't a super tense situation where something's going on and then blah. No, it was literally a earned jump scare where I was like,
the best one.
Boom. Yeah. Pretty good movie. It's one of those, as I like to call it, complete movies where you get a beginning, middle, and end, and the end is definite. It's not like, for example, the Insidious franchises where they kind of all connect to each other, have different things. I'm sure that now that Black Phone is out, next year there'll be White Phone, Red Phone, and all types of phones. 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish. But yeah, that's the only movie I've seen this year.
I've seen a lot of movies, but I'm gonna just focus on 3 that I feel
you literally pulled out a list.
Yeah, because I keep up with like everything.
How many have you seen altogether?
I mean, new movies this year.
Yeah, like in theaters. Well, not theaters, but like theatrical releases, or it just came out this year.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And this is where this
12,
podcast gets interesting because me and Drew, while really like we know each other pretty well, we're very different on where we're at. So,
but I'm seeing 12. new movies this year.
I wanted. There's so many that I need to catch up on. I haven't watched the new Thor movie, which I heard some people were like, "eh." I haven't watched the Batman movie. I've seen cuts and bits and pieces of it, and I've seen what makes it great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I haven't experienced it myself. And you know what it is? It's one of those things where like I know something is great, so I want to experience it. And the thing is, once it's no longer in theaters, it's very difficult to really make that. Because why?
Yeah.
Bring, phone goes off.
Turn your phone off.
Right, exactly. So it's one of those things where like if I want to, and especially I don't know about you, but me having Hispanic parents, they love to contact you about the most mundane stuff on a regular day possible. Like, hey, by the way, how do I enter blah 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 blah? We've gone over this hundreds of times.
Right.
There's 3 dots at the top of the screen. Okay, where do you go from there? Click here. Like they'll call me about the most mundane thing ever, and I'll be like, rewind, you know. So I need to experience it. But yes, continue. First the 3.
So yeah, I just want to talk about 3 that I feel like not necessarily like my favorites and most notable. One of them is my favorite movie of the year so far. But first one is The Adam Project. It's a Netflix movie.
That sounds pretty dope. The Adam Project.
Yeah, starring Ryan Reynolds.
Even better.
Playing Ryan Reynolds because that's what he does.
He's now. It's so much. It's so crazy that he literally does that in commercials for his phone company. I mean,
if it ain't broke,
don't fix it. Keep going for it. Yeah.
But it's basically about this kid. Like he gets bullied, but like things like his dad died like years before or whatever, like when he was really young. So it's him and his mom, and everything, and so basically, in the future, he becomes like this, like space pilot or whatever and everything, and but he finds out like whoever he's working for is corrupt. He's trying to stop them. In trying to stop them, he goes back in time. And so like he meets his younger self.
Wow.
And like it's basically just sort of like this pseudo father-son story. And of him like trying to, like don't be like this. You're gonna regret it for the rest of your life and all this stuff. So
oh wow, that's pretty dope because then he's coming back to being his own father essentially.
No. He's not being his own father because they do like meet like his father. They time travel as well, but it's like don't become what I became. Like be better. You know what I'm saying? So but yeah, it's really dope. Surprisingly like emotional, like near the end. Directed by Sean Levy, who apparently works really well with Ryan Reynolds because he directed Free Guy that came out last year, and he's going to be directing Deadpool 3 as well.
Cool. So, which at that point, they should just send the title to Ryan Reynolds in a red suit. That should just be the title.
Yeah. But I'm going a little out of order here, but one I saw the most recently, Jordan Peele's new movie, Nope. Yeah.
I actually want to go see it, although I've heard that it's not well, I mean, it's because he really knocked it out the park with the first movie.
Yeah, Get Out is amazing.
Yeah, like it's essentially kind of like when baseball this can happen. It's essentially where a guy gets called up to his very first at bat and he hits a home run, but then after that he's striking out. He's
I will say I don't think it's fair, especially this, to compare it to Get Out and
because it's completely different.
Because I wouldn't classify this as a horror movie. Yeah, there are horror elements, but it's more of a like thriller. I would say comedy. Honestly. But it's like a sci-fi thriller comedy.
I think what it has to do too is like once you drop something great, you're always gonna be contrasted against that.
Yeah, of course. Like, and like it's still earlier in his career, so like maybe with time this will be,
they got to give it time to develop, and like you said, it's because we expect so much greatness from him right off the bat.
But yeah, I personally like really enjoyed it. I liked the message behind it, which I won't spoil.
Is it still in theaters?
Yeah, for sure.
I might actually go watch it this weekend. Because I really recently I haven't really gone to theaters that much, but I really, you know what it is, the pandemic really wiped that out of my
Yeah.
existence, because before I definitely was excited to go see certain movies in theaters. I was excited to go, but now it's been a battle to kind of get myself to what would you call it, re-socialize. Like I've caught myself being like, I don't want to go do this with people. I can just do this on my own.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because 2 or 3 years I've literally been stay home, stay away from people, don't touch them.
Most times I go to the movies, I go by myself anyway. So
Yeah.
that's like it's fine with me, honestly.
Oh,
like,
if I go to the movie theater, like 3 people are butthurt. My brother, my coworkers, or my fiance. So I can never go by myself because everybody's like,
yeah, it's pretty much like the superhero movies and that I go like with somebody else. But like recently, like I've seen like a string of movies with like another friend of mine that really likes movies. So
cool.
Like we saw Nope, we saw Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Did you see that meme that was going around where kids were literally dressing up in suits to go watch it? I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious, and it was. It didn't hurt anybody until I saw them acting a fool in the and then I was just like, dang it, teenagers, you were doing great again.
Right. But Nope is really good. Daniel Kaluuya, great as always. Keke Palmer, amazing.
Yeah. Fun fact about me, I can tell, I know by faces who they are, no idea their real names. Like I would meet one of them and be like, you're from that show True. From like Nickelodeon days. And
not True, Jackson.
Right. And she'd be like, yes, that is very also true. Yeah. You know, no pun intended.
But I will say, a favorite movie of the year so far.
Drum roll, please.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Don't know if you heard about this.
No, I have not heard of this.
No, because honestly, like it's a smaller movie, but the word of mouth on it has been insane. That's how I heard about it.
Yeah.
To begin with, anyway. And yeah, I think they said to date, because it's made by the studio A24. You know, that makes like a lot of.
I actually love their. I love their logo and their intros.
Yeah,
love their intros.
This is their highest grossing movie yet. Like, it's so basically.
Yeah.
Honestly, the less you know about the movie, the better.
Okay,
like,
don't tell me a single thing.
If you go into
what is it called again?
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Where's is it in theaters? Where's it looking like?
No, it's not in theaters anymore.
Everything. What was it?
Everything, Everywhere,
All at Once.
Yeah,
that's on Showtime. Oh no, they still have it.
Oh yeah, okay,
cool.
Yeah, starring Michelle Yeoh.
Wow.
Ke Huy Quan returning to the screen after I don't know how many years, but if you don't know that name,
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Have you seen The Goonies?
No, I have not.
Indiana Jones?
Yes, I have.
What's his name? The little Asian kid. Yeah, Indiana Jones. Yeah, that's him. He plays a husband.
Really?
He plays a husband. And like when I tell you this movie
like great
has everything. Like
yeah. It looks like I can rent it. I can probably watch it this weekend too. Come discuss it next week.
Heart, action, comedy, like what the moments like.
Yeah.
Like there's literally one moment I was laughing harder than I ever have in a movie theater.
Is it? It reminds me a little bit of that movie with Lakeith Stanfield. Sorry to bother you.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I like that movie up to a point.
Yeah, me too. Literally the same thing.
I feel like you know what point I'm talking about.
Exactly. It was going great into that point.
Yeah. And
no spoilers for anybody. Go watch it and you'll literally be like, yes. Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, this movie doesn't have that. Like it's
doesn't have a horrible twist, at least nowhere.
Yeah. But yeah, it's also like really like philosophical and it's
multidimensional.
Yeah. It's one of the craziest films you might ever see. Like, I've never seen anything like it, and I'm jealous that I didn't think of it first. Yeah.
Why didn't I turn
if you were disappointed by Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, this is the Multiverse of Madness movie you were looking for.
I haven't watched that either.
But, yeah. Really great. I really hope it gets nominated.
I literally have to write down a list of superhero movies that I've missed, great releases that I've missed, because like I told you, literally The last time I went to a theater to watch a movie was about 2-3 weeks ago, and the reason why, co-workers were like, "Hey, we should hang out this weekend. What should we do?" I said, "All right, cool. We went out, got some food, watched a movie, went bowling." That's the only reason I got to watch it, and because the other stuff is, adulting is hard, man.
Yeah.
Adulting sucks.
Right.
Like, I now understand what the grown-ups would say: "Don't rush to be grown."
Mm-hmm.
I wish, enjoy the youth of anybody who reaches into their pockets and got nothing in them. Enjoy it.
Right.
Now I reach into my pockets, all I pull out is bills, but not dollar bills. I mean bills.
Yeah. Everything costs money and it hurts.
And it is not fun to obtain such things.
All right.
Jesus.
So we talked about the past, but let's talk about the future. The rest of 2022.
All right.
We have some big things coming out. So where do you want to start? Oh, you know what we didn't talk about?
What?
Did you watch season 3 of Atlanta?
So here's the thing about that.
Mm.
I want to get into it, but it's either gaming or watching that show. I can't do both. Like I said, adulting blows.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, like, if you know anybody, if you know me personally, I am a gigantic Childish Gambino fan, big Donald Glover fan. I literally have not gotten around to do anything because I'm literally like trying my best to keep up with everything and all things at once, but no, I have not watched it.
Okay. Well, season 4 is coming out later this year.
So I need to hurry up and start watching. How does it compare to
season 3? I thought
it's getting canceled, no?
Yeah, I mean, season 4 is gonna be the final season. Like they filmed it with that intention.
Oh, okay.
Because it was announced a long time ago. Like, because they had announced, they had greenlit season 3 and 4 at the same time. They said 4 would be the final season. So, but yeah, season 3, I thought it was okay. My only gripe was that there were a lot of episodes that didn't feature the main cast. Because, like, you know how, like, sometimes they would do, like, those one-off episodes that's just, like, a little short, aside, which are good, too, but it's just after not having the show for so long.
I don't want fillers.
Yeah, and, like, you get it because the main actors have become big stars. You know? So, they're busy, they couldn't all film together and everything, so. Yeah,
that's true. It like you said, it literally has changed tremendously for all of them.
Yeah.
Like Keith Stanfield,
because literally all of them except Lakeith have been in a Marvel movie. So,
true. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, yeah, it is true. So, like you said, if trying to watch movies is hard, imagine to get TV shows and movie appearances must be even more brutal.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I will say, like, it definitely birthed some new memes. Of course, they have, like, episodes that are, like, literally based on real life events that happened. And there's
no more Black Justin Bieber.
Yeah, there's, like, trippy, that weird Twin Peaks type feel to it and everything. Yeah, like,
kind of like the one where in season 2 where was the Paperboys gets lost in the woods, and essentially it's kind of like
there's another Paperboy gets lost episode.
Oh Jesus!
And it gets crazy, but there's the finale, like, actually focused on Van. That was really interesting, and they said they're gonna explore more of that in season 4.
Because to a certain extent, Van has always been just an accessory to Earn.
Yeah, and, like, that's what sort of, like, the episode was exploring, like, who she is as a person, like, who she wants to be. So
because I think season 2 explored a little bit more of their dynamics as a relationship, which it shows that there is something there, but it's not fully there or developed at all.
Working,
it's just literally the episodes where they go to Helen, which was, I think, I don't remember which episode it was anymore. Something I didn't realize.
Juneteenth.
No, it wasn't Juneteenth. Basically, they end up going to Helen because Van has some type of German ancestry in her life.
Oh, yeah, the Fest.
The German Fest thing, Oktoberfest. And somebody pointed it out was that in the beginning of the episode, Ern is essentially driving the car headed there, and on the way back, Van is the one that's actually driving everything back. So essentially, it shows who is literally and physically in the driver's seat. So, like you said, I actually wanted to see a little bit more of her because, like, she's always just been kind of the not the side chick, but really just the person, as I like to call it, the emotional part to Ern. You know, the thing that's keeping them, because Lottie's not just a kid, it's just a baby.
And speaking of, because they released a trailer for season 4 yesterday, and I don't know if like the show is following real time or they did a time skip, because Lottie is a lot older.
Really?
Like she's not a baby, so she's not a toddler, so but
I wonder if it's the same actor.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, like season 3 again, some really like cool, like interesting cameos that I won't spoil. But
start watching this soon.
Yeah, I'm excited for season 4 because one thing they said season 4 we just want to have fun, so,
yeah, for sure. Because if it's the last season, so that means it's gonna be. I wish I would be in that writer's room.
Right. Yeah.
Just imagine just spitballing with them, really just kind of shooting the shit eventually.
So yeah, if you haven't watched Atlanta, all episodes streaming on Hulu.
Alright. Yeah. Cool.
What else is coming out?
We're going to the thing. Do you want to continue?
I mean, we can hit the 2-hour mark.
Okay, we'll hit the 2-hour mark. We just wanted to make
finish before.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure it keeps it like fresh for everybody.
Yeah.
What's coming up?
Of course, I don't know if you saw the trailer, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, Wakanda Forever. Dropping out soon.
The first trailer to make me cry, like
right, physically.
That was crazy.
It makes it so interesting to see, like how can I tell you, like when you see an actor, you see them act, you see them be a character, you connect with them in a certain way, but to see that, like, man, like to give the performance that he gave in the first, times and all this thing that he does while battling what he was battling behind scenes, man, it really, you appreciate it a little bit more. So I think for sure.
Yeah. That movie's gonna do crazy.
Oh yeah.
Numbers, man.
Oh yeah.
Because the first one was so big.
Yeah. Like, I didn't think it, honestly, I didn't think it could have gotten any bigger because it definitely, like, the first time it was like, it was no president before it. Nobody had ever had this before, and then it was such a cultural thing where, like, I mean, people were wearing like traditional African like stuff to the movie and all the different things, and I thought, man, those are some big shoes to fill for that sequel. And then of course, I don't think
you don't want
something like this, something tragedy to happen, but it definitely helped them to really, once again, get that hype train.
It's gonna push, like what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing of who's gonna be Black Panther and all that stuff, and
how that moves.
Like on. Also with the introduction of Namor, who, by the way, is Mexican. I don't know if you knew.
No idea.
Yeah. So like a lot of the Atlanteans is gonna be in the movie. Like they're gonna go into like Aztec Mexican culture and stuff like that, which is really dope. So MCU's first Mexican superhero.
I'm just waiting for, like, the only thing that I've always had with any type of Mexican representation in every single thing that I've ever watched is the accent. We all don't talk
Mexican actors,
right? Well, the thing is, I don't know what it is about so many different things. No, well, the thing is, that's the thing. They since they're Mexican, they're like, add more spice to it. So they add the little. One of the biggest gripes I have against Disney, and it's such a. I don't know if this is gonna break the glass for you guys, but have you noticed that every single Spanish speaking movie, for example, Encanto and things before it, they speak English up to about the second to last word and then use a word in Spanish. But sometimes I'm like, if she was able to articulate her feelings, why would she last moment say las galletas? Like, why would she, if she articulated this entire sentence, why would the last thing be a Spanish word, and I'd be so mad at that. It used to take me out so bad, just because I literally was that. Like I'll literally be sitting there and I'm like, Spanish word in 3, 2, 1.
Yep.
Just went on this entire complex thing about how this exists, but for some reason, instead of magic, it's la magia. I'm like, why would she say all these things in English and then articulate the last word or last 2 words?
To that point, I think it's because one.
You could just have all Spanish.
No. The actors in there, while they do have like, Latin, heritage, they are Americans.
Yeah, that's true.
But like to my point with Namor, like the actor that's playing like is actually a Mexican actor, like, from Mexico, lives in Mexico and all that stuff. So hopefully there will, and I don't even think he'll be speaking Mexican because I think they'll have like their own language.
Yeah, no, and what's interesting too, like Angie really made it out, really made me realize she's like, we do that all the time. It's a bit, but it's so subconscious that we don't do it. It's like, and a lot of times we use it as a way to have a private conversation. It's like we'll talk about like, hey, can you please get this thing in Spanish, or it's like we'll use it from time to time. It's like, of course, like in movies they do it a lot because it's children, they want to maybe do this and that nature. But it is, I do always like I see the funnier side to it, but I also am like, I'm also mentally like, what she just articulated about her feelings and how she feels about these complex things, and why would she end up the whole conversation with like, instead of chair, like, take a seat on the silla, and I'm like, oh my.
No, I understand that. That's what for me, and even as much as I love Black Panther, like the accents are not the best.
No. Oh yeah, for sure.
And you can chalk it up like, oh, it's a fictional country. They can have whatever accent. Like that's cool. But it's based off something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're not trying.
When it's based off, it's not.
They're not trying to hide it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which it's one of those things where like, if it barks like a dog and it does all the things, like, it definitely is that.
Yeah. So it's like, for certain actors, because like for certain actors, like it comes more naturally because that's what they grew up around. Because like I know for Winston Duke for sure, like his was pretty spot on, and of course, I'm blanking on his name, but the actor that plays T'Chaka, his father, like he's like actually grew up in Africa and everything.
And all the other it's kind of a little bit ignorant of everybody in the crowd, but most of the people in the crowd will not understand it.
Like they don't, hear that accent every day, but like someone, who grew up with that accent. And,
you're definitely wait a minute.
Like hearing, what was the example?
It's like car people watching Fast and Furious.
Yeah, like as much as I like love Angela Bassett, she's an American actress.
Yeah.
Like hearing that accent from her, like sometimes hurts.
How could you do this to me?
But it's all good.
No, and I think like it's lighthearted at the end of the day. Like I'm not offended by it. Like one of the things, I don't know if you saw that controversy with who was it, Aquafina, where she was upset saying that she wasn't going to do a stereotypical Asian accent, but then they pull up old episodes where she's doing a stereotypical black accent, a black accent, and you're just kind of like, that's the thing. What's so crazy, which is kind of good and bad at the same time, but like the internet really is good at like being like, nah, let's keep that same energy, or like let's see really what you know what I mean. Yeah,
this you undefeated.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially, that's what it is, and it keeps us accountable to a certain extent. But what the internet has a tough time understanding is
they don't want to let people change and grow.
There it is. That's exactly what the internet has a very, very difficult thing with the past and the fact that people evolve, and that, like, for example, I didn't know you could do this, but now you can go on Twitter and type in a word and push send, and it'll pop up every single
time they've said
is this word, that word, and it's so crazy to me because like you're like some of course some instances are worse than others, like if you did this maybe a month or two ago and they catch you, then of course, but if they catch you when you were younger or stuff of that nature, you're just like, they have to grow, they have to evolve,
especially for stuff where they've apologized in the past, and just because you as an individual didn't see it, like
now
you
you're
still
bringing
want
it
to hold
back
them
up.
accountable for that. Like with the whole from a couple of years ago, Kevin Hart situation where they pulled up like old tweets, which he apologized for, And then when he was set to host the Oscars or something like that,
Yeah.
they pulled it up again. And he was like, I'm not going to apologize again.
Because I've already done it. Yeah.
So,
I've always felt that too, especially with comedy. I'm a big comedy fan. I love comedy. Love stand-up comedy. I mean, all comedy. Literally, the other day, I was trying to watch something with Angie, and she goes, I know what you want, comedy. And it's literally why I love laughing. I enjoy it the whole time. But a lot of times what happens is, we're really good at the internet blurs the line of time, right? When I see Conan O'Brien with Steven Yeun at a spa, I thought it happened the other week, last week, but this episode could have happened several years behind. But because the internet is really good at I don't think that they do it, consciously, but subconsciously, time works way more different on the internet. So a lot of times with comedy is that the jokes that we used to tell back in 2005, 2008, 2010, even 2013 or 15 are not the same jokes you can make today. And so a lot of times it's recorded.
Yeah.
And now you're playing today's mentality on yesterday's or that time's thing. And it's like, well, what we used to say back then does not fit what happens anymore. You can't add the morality of today for yesterday. Why? Because it changes. Yeah. And like you said, to me, I don't think that's, like you said, if you apologize for it and if you sincerely apologize, because there's also those apologies where you're just apologizing because your PR department says, shut up and, and dance, know, but like if it's a sincere thing when they truly apologize and they're not continuing to do it, like you said, to me it didn't seem fair. One of the favorite things about that whole Oscar thing happening was, I don't know if you saw the Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart snippets of the Olympics. So essentially, in order to make the Olympics a little bit more watchable, they had Kevin Hart and Snoop Dogg commenting on them, and then in one of the shorts, they're talking like Snoop and Dogg are like just shooting the shit or whatever, chewing the fat. And then Snoop goes, like, have you ever gone to the Oscars? It's like, what the hell happened to the Oscars? That was a selfish question. That was a very selfish question. Oh, man. I love that thing so much because it literally is just Snoop Dogg kind of like, I know what happened, but I'm just going to poke at it because it's still fun. Yeah. Yeah, so for sure. So, I mean, I always had a funny kind of thing I thought I would always do was, like, I wanted at one point to be a stand-up comedian. And, I could still probably do it if but you have to, like I said. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I don't have time. Yeah. I don't have money to be driving back and forth. And I think it was one of those things where, I had been a broke college student who was literally just, going from little, it could have probably happened. But my biggest thing that I thought I would do is every year I would drop a tweet that says, I'd like to apologize for all the jokes for 2021. All those jokes do not reflect me anymore. I please apologize, blah, blah, blah. So the moment somebody would pull up a joke, I would tweet them at the joke, like, here's my apology for this one, sir. Exactly. And like, it is every single year or every 6 months, I'd be like, I'd like to apologize for the last 6 months of ever, just as a kind of a way to just not at the internet and be like, come on, Mr. Sensitive, you're you're going to be mad about something. But I don't know how that would have went over. Yeah, so we'd like to apologize for any jokes made in this podcast. Immediately, they're in the past. We've grown much better. We've grown as people, like experienced new things, met new people. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's kind of like when you would reach the base and tag, or what was it? What is it called? Dang it, is it freeze tag? No. What game is it where like you're supposed to get somewhere, but once you reach the base, they can't touch you anymore? Is it tag? I don't know. I have to find it out. But anyways, we're in the clear now that we said this. So with that, we're gonna wrap up this inaugural episode of the insert title. And so thank you for joining us. If you liked it, what platforms? This would definitely be available on YouTube. Okay. Once I figure out how to get it on Spotify, it will also be on there. Okay. And eventually Apple Music, if I figure out how to get there. All right. But for now, for sure, you will definitely get it on YouTube. Okay, so leave a like, subscribe, comment, share it with your friends. Yeah. Timestamp, what was your favorite part? Yeah, like as you can see, like, we talk about a lot of different things, so this podcast is for everybody, so. And leave topics too and things that we talk about. I mean, for sure. And while we were doing, I guess, what was it? A mic check. We were talking about pancakes versus waffles. With pancakes. But we won't get into that. But if you want to drop something like this. If you want us to get into that, let us know. Right. Let us know. So, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. And hopefully there should be another one in 1 or 2 weeks.
Whenever you're free, man.
I mean, I could do them after work, but so yeah, we're gonna try to do these as much as available. I'm definitely gonna drop some gameplay on the channel too to kind of keep going. So if you're into gaming, let us know. And I mean, we've literally talked about gaming. So if you're at this point, you're into gaming.
Yeah.
So stay on the channel. We're gonna drop some gaming stuff, and more things coming up soon. So yeah.
All right. This is Drew.
This is Max.
Signing off.
Peace.
Until next time.